What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Welcome to episode 26 of State of Affairs with me and my co-host SW. How are you doing today, SW?
Doing good.
Thanks.
I sat at a bar all alone and had a drink and wings.
I
I'm
don't know
really stepping out there.
how you didn't end it all after being alone for an extended amount of time. It must have been so lonely out
All the
there, man.
boomers were giving me the stink eye, wondering why this guy's all alone.
Where are your friends, man? How dare you walk into a bar, right? Of all places, a bar alone, right? Um, yeah, if people don't know what we're talking about, I think we'll definitely have time to cover that. Um, this idea that like going to a place alone is like this harrowing experience.
I think
Maybe
it
just
just shows it just shows how ridiculous the codependency we have in society is.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, look, I'm all for like third spaces, and you're actually probably better at this than me. You're like a part of a hockey league, which is awesome. Um, you have like your third spaces, but like the idea that you always need to be with like your group or whatever is like it's yeah, it's a weird codependency thing. I totally agree. Yeah, we can look at that after this topic. The first one I wanted to get into, so just kind of a I don't know why this is okay. Anyway, just kind of a preamble to what we're going to be talking about today. Pretty laid back show as usual. None of the topics I realized actually really tie in together that well. They're just kind of three different things, but they're all funny, I think. And the first one really hits on the race thing. And so if you're if you're online, you've probably seen this trend. We'll just call it the quarter
Well, it's
zip.
funny because I saw a video on it, a few this week, and I had
Hmm.
no clue what the hell the point of it was.
I didn't
And all
either.
this, and then when you like sent me that, I was like, oh, that's what it is. And it was
Yeah.
just like I couldn't figure out why that was like the new trend on IG Reels.
Yeah, so I was so how I discovered it was I was scrolling TikTok one night and it was a group of black people saying before and after black people discover the quarter zip. And me, I'm watching a black person video and I'm thinking they're talking about a quarter zip of weed. I thought they were saying like
I think that
what's
too immediately when somebody says that.
I was like, wait, are they talking about like, and I was like, when is this going to turn into like a marijuana focused video? But then I realized he was wearing a quarter zip. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I'm outing how my thinking was in my youth a little bit there. But I see like guys in Nike Techs and hoodies, and I'm like, oh, they're talking about how much weed they're buying. I'm like, okay, weird. But no, they're talking about the fact that I guess the black community has discovered the article of clothing, the quarter zip. And some of the reactions to this are it's just hysterical to me. We'll look at some of the videos, but I guess just to start off, look, I'll say this from the beginning. Is this the worst thing in the world? No. It's not the worst thing.
It's just funny.
It's just funny. It's very funny to me, and I think it does tie into
For
um
like the supposed we set every trend, we know everything before we
yeah.
do everything before it's cool.
Hmm.
It's like kind of I don't know, I just keep thinking of it's like almost like very Africanized. Like
Yeah.
you would imagine like so it's something you would almost imagine somebody in like the slums of Johannesburg like figuring out.
Yeah, like discovering like wingtip shoes or something like that, or like wearing a leather belt. It's like, I mean, it's not the worst thing. I'm not going to sit here and act like, they better take off that quarter zip, boy. But it's like, I do think it's funny that for a vast majority of the black community, they think the only thing standing between them and generational wealth is like just throwing on a nice article of clothing and that they don't really have to change anything else about themselves. And what
We should
the
claim cultural appropriation.
I've seen some of that. I've seen some people saying my culture is not your costume or something, and the quarter zip is a pretty white guy. At least it's a very upper socioeconomic thing. Like, um, so yeah, there's a lot to get into there. There's actually some philosophy behind blank slatism and nature versus nurture that we could get into a little bit. But I want to just kind of start by showing people. Um, kind of the videos that are coming out of this movement. So we'll look at a couple quick ones. Luckily, none of them are too long, but they do kind of explain like what this is for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about. So just for starters, really quick, I am gonna like shamelessly shill myself here. I just posted this on Twitter, but this is a picture of me. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. This is a picture of me from 2011, Christmas 2011, quarter zip on, scarf on. I was still experimenting with the scarf game a little bit, so everybody give me some grace on that one. But this is 2011. I'm in a quarter zip. No, the CIA was not breaking down my door trying to make sure that I didn't wear the quarter zip. Um, they've been out forever. Like I don't it just feels weird even talking about this like it's a movement because it's just an article of clothing that's been around for decades, really. And I guess black people associate it with like rich white guys.
I
Um,
think now they associate it with like it's gotta have something to do with like college athletes or like they
mm,
see.
yeah,
That's my theory.
interesting. I could see that because you wouldn't really see it from a rapper. I don't see rappers doing this. I could see this with college athletes. I don't know where this trend started. Um, But yeah, I mean, the idea that this is like some brand new groundbreaking territory is ridiculous. Like the quarter zip's been around forever. Um, and yeah, so let's just look at some of the videos. I want to get in, there is a parallel here to draw with this woman, but let's just look at some of the videos first. So some of the commentary on Black Twitter is just ridiculous surrounding this. This woman says, I saw this TikTok trend about young black guys switching to quarter zip sweaters, and I love it. I never got the sagging pants thing. They say they feel sharp, productive, accomplished, ditching
That's
Nike tech and thug styles. Seeing them here embracing God with their crosses is what is needed to uplift them in their community positively. I hope the YNs go away, making way for the YGs, the young gentlemen. So yeah, I mean, just even in that statement, I mean, look, you can wear the cross as much as you want. I usually wear a cross when I'm wearing stuff, but my clasp broke. But um, yeah, I mean, are these people really like going to church? I mean, maybe they are going to church, but that
well, this
kind
is
of
almost like putting on glasses and being like, now I feel intelligent.
exactly. I thought about the glasses parallel too. Like, is that going to be the next step?
Well, that
So,
was like the trend with NBA players. There was a
oh, it
while where
was
Russell Westbrook was getting
with
just roasted
for the
because he
fake
was wearing
glasses.
glasses that still had the these are demo lenses on them.
Yeah, I remember that. In the late 2010s, in order to look most sophisticated, they were wearing glasses that they didn't even need to wear. This exactly, this is the exact same thing. Um, Except it's probably a little more permissible in the athlete's case because they actually have money. You know what I mean? Um, but these people, okay, let's just see what they have to say about this.
You know, after 19 years in this world, for the first time in my life, I feel, thank you,
Amen.
accomplished,
Good evening.
presentable, productive, efficient. These are all the qualities that come from putting on clothing such as these. I don't have to wear Nike Tech anymore to be warm. I got my quarter zip.
We have our quarters. We have our button ups. We have our.
So we still are wearing the beanie. We still got the dreads.
That's why I
Uh,
wonder if this is like partially trolling or if
I
like.
do kind of feel like it is trolling, but here's
But
the
I feel
thing
like
though.
there's enough videos where it's like sincere, but then like it
Yes,
mixes in like the trolling.
the reactions to these videos are absolutely not trolling. So the people making these may be trolling, but the people who are commenting on these videos saying, I love seeing our young black men succeed because they wear a quarter zip, that is totally
It's
authentic. That is
funny too
totally
because it's
sincere.
like that's not even surface level. It's like they haven't succeeded. They just
Right, right,
they just put on a sweatshirt. That's
right.
it.
And they're acting like they split the atom. And I know
The
it's coming.
banker's gonna give them their loan.
Yes, and it's coming off as mean, but I am being a little mean here because I really like don't like the idea that like the only thing standing between you and like being a wealthy, successful person or having that generational wealth is like wearing an article of clothing. Because like I said on Twitter, is their behavior going to change? Like, are they going to stop doing, like I've said in
I
plenty
feel
of
like this
videos?
plays to boomers. And you
Yes.
know
Oh,
there's going to be
100%.
some cowboy hat wearing boomer doing the Yellowstone meme, being
Yes.
like, look at these fine, distinguished young men.
I don't care
Glad
if
to
they
see.
vote. I don't care if they vote Democrat. I just want to see them being successful and caring about their appearance.
I'd give them a job, not my
Exactly.
deadbeat son.
Exactly. Not my deadbeat son living in the basement. These young men know the meaning of hard work, you know? But it does remind me of like those scam videos you see being sold to boomers, like the scam health videos. This is the one step. This is the one technique you need to use to live forever. If you just cut blueberries out of your diet, you will be in perfect health. That's what
Take
this
these
reminds me
goalie
of.
gummies.
Yeah, or take ashwagandha and you will be fine. That's what this is. It's that there's one thing you can change. You don't need to change what's going on in your brain. You don't need to change your actions at all. You just need to throw this on and you'll be fine. And it's ridiculous.
Our turtlenecks. We have our crosses. We have God in our life.
Amen.
We're on a path to building.
We're on a
Are
different
you though?
wavelength. We're on a different playing field.
We're on a different
We have
frequency. We're on a
different
different
mindsets.
vibration.
We have a different lifestyle. Everything about us is different.
We don't wear techs. We wear quarter zips.
I feel like they are
We don't
trolling.
drink
You're right.
Gatorade. We drink matcha. We don't use.
I don't know. I keep going back and forth.
You want your Instagram.
It's like the guy in the blue feels like he's trolling.
Yeah.
The guy the guy in
Yeah.
the turtleneck seems more sincere, but that could just be quality of acting.
hmm Yeah, I feel like there is an element to an element of trolling here.
Give me your matter of fact. Give me your Facebook.
Add me to your Google Calendar.
And you are right. It's like they're wearing like the white costume because these are all the things that they're naming. It's really not just the quarter zip. They're trying to embrace like a whole lifestyle. And what they think being successful is like having a Google Calendar. You know what I
Well, that's
mean?
see the thing is, and it's funny you bring this up. It that reminds me of something I've noticed just in personal experience working with Gen Z Mexicans and young black dudes,
Uh-huh.
and they truly. How do I'm trying to like to figure out the wording so I don't dox myself.
Oh, fair enough.
But it's like basically the boilerplate of the situation was there was a young Hispanic kid who went to the private university in town, and everyone like not joking, like mostly sincere, would always be like, "Oh, he's always wearing a nice, always has a different tie on every day. He always like he had like the backpack, but he grew up taking these entrepreneurship classes and all that new age
hmm
like business stuff they
Like
teach in schools
Forex,
now."
like
Yeah,
Forex.
well, it's like stuff like, or he was always talking about like Ty Lopez and like all the like the Instagram Gary V
Yes.
like
Yeah, yeah,
he
like hustle grind bro culture on
and he
Instagram.
like he was they people he was like always going to like these college networking events, but in the office he couldn't even do basic anything.
You see a
He
lot
would
of that.
just kind of do like busy work around the office, but like he never got any projects for actual stuff related to the field because he would like smile, say yes, and then eventually the upper management was like, "What?" Would just be like, "Why does this kid never do anything?" It's like we give him a project, he doesn't do it, and then he just tells us what we want to hear, and then
Exactly.
we kind of like the realization was like, "Oh, he's just playing a part."
hmm
Like, and he like it would be perfect as like a front desk person because that's kind of like
Just
playing the
that's just
role.
like
Hey,
a smile and nod
yeah.
job. Yeah. Yeah.
But like when it came to like, hey, you need to do these spreadsheets, and here's a project directly related to what you're going to school for,
hmm
it would just be like, uh,
It's
he
like you're
just would freeze. He couldn't like
yeah.
actually do it.
Yeah, these a lot of these minorities really just love to they want to network all day. They want to do networking events and they think that it's like the networking event that leads them to the success and not like the
They
actual work.
want the perfect Snapchat, Instagram story of
Right.
like their dress shoes in the fancy office being like out here another day another dollar like
Right.
type of thing, but it's like you're not actually doing any work, and then eventually management catches on to this stuff and they realize
100%.
like, oh, these kids are just they're basically playing office.
Yeah. And it's just like this comment here. This guy posted this video that we'll look at. He said, I've been seriously pondering, not just pondering, he's been seriously pondering this Nike Tech to quarter zip trend. And listen, if we can get more of these young dudes started in cybersecurity and AI
What?
with some
What
tech
does?
certs and
Oh my God!
Robin Hood accounts, dog, this could positively shift trajectories at scale. At
This is
scale.
magic. Like
This
we
is
talk
magic
about
thinking.
magic dirt, magic clothing.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I was going to get into. Thank you. I'm glad we're on. That's why you and I do this show together because same mindset. I was thinking, and that literally ties into the philosophical thing that I was saying earlier. There is an element of like blank slatism and magic dirt theory here. The idea that like you have who you truly are, like the person behind even your skin, like behind your in your brain, the person you are, and that's all customizable if you just throw on the quarter zip. It's like a Sims character. If you
It's
throw on a
almost
quarter
like
zip, you get plus 20 intelligence.
it's like if I bought all the top of the line hockey equipment, like and magically thought like, oh, now I'm gonna score 4 goals a game. Like, no,
Exactly.
there's still you still have to skate. You still have to know what you're doing. You're going against people who have been doing, and I'm going against people who have been doing this since they were like 12.
Right.
So it doesn't work that way, which is funny because it's like, yeah, you could. That's like if you ask them, like, okay, if you spend $1,000 on these Kobe 7 Grinches, is that going to make you a better basketball player?
Well, I would be curious to ask them like these guys who are doing, and let's just assume that it's sincere because that's probably the best way to look
I
at it.
think this post is sincere. I think the guys before were trolling.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is literally.
This seems sincere, actually. Yes. I want to ask these guys. Wait, let's watch it first. Like, isn't that such a ridiculous statement? So this guy is going from they're in quarter zips to now he's saying like that we should get them into AI and tech. What about these people, aside from the quarter zip, gives you any indication that they would be like good at AI? You know what I mean? And it's like that really makes me question the IQ of this person, this Steph is dope guy. This is the kind of person who they're trying to market to, and it's another black person, of course, but the kind of person who just sees a quarter zip and says, "I bet he'd be a great lawyer." Like, why do you think that? What about this is leading you to believe that? You know? And like, I don't hate it. I don't get like mad seeing black people dress nicely. That's not a
It's
problem.
just
But it's like the
it's
lazy.
literally the magic clothes.
Yeah. And look, I'll say this also. I mean, I've been a professional, worked in professional settings. I can count on maybe three fingers, probably not even, where I've seen someone in the real world, not a TikTok, not a black guy with dreads saying, I have cornrows and I make $300,000 a year as a project engineer.
Did you
I
ever see the one where it's like the guy who just graduated med school and he was wearing a do-rag, smoking a cigar, or he was doing it, I think he was in his residency and he was out in the courtyard of the hospital. He goes, "How are you gonna feel about your doctor wearing a do-rag?"
I mean, I wouldn't feel good about it, to be honest with you. And it's the same thing with the hair. I just haven't seen any guys in my personal life who who are successful with like, and maybe this guy's different, that's different. But the twisties, this thing, this guy's throwing up gang signs over here. This guy's going, is that a Crip sign? He's like, bro. And the last three all have glasses on, so they're reliving the 2010s like we were just talking about. And this is the other thing, and this is I've been seeing this a lot on Black Twitter too. This line that the CIA is in shambles. Now that does actually make me mad. I really hate that line because what it presents is basically that black people have no agency, and maybe there's a certain amount of truth in that. Um, but the idea that black people are not doing anything, everything is only happening to them. So, like, the best example is when they talk about like in the 80s, the only reason there was a crack epidemic was because the CIA put crack in our neighborhoods. It's like, well, somebody had to do the crack. Somebody had to sell the crack. It's not like they put a gun to your head and made you do the crack. It's the same thing with welfare. They say, we only on welfare because the CIA wants us on welfare. It's like, no, you have to fill out the forms. You have to like sign up for the welfare. You don't get born and put on welfare. So the idea that the CIA is like, ha ha ha, we're going to keep quarter zips away from black. They found the quarter zips. What are we going to do? It's so ridiculous. And it's just like, do you have no agency? And you should listen to that when you talk to black people. Listen to how nothing is ever on them. Nothing was ever a product of their doing or them acting upon the world. It's all done to them. The CIA did this. The CIA is doing this to our community. The reason we don't have generational wealth, like you and I were texting about, is because in 1920 they built a racist highway over our neighborhood. It's like that nothing is ever done by them. It's all done to them. It's very it's very low agency thinking. I just really can't
Well,
stand
and
the
the problem
CIA
is
thing.
it's because it's and it's all this is really it's like I don't know it's mean to say and it's kind of slavish on their part. It's almost like they're slaves to whatever the far left academic theory is.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
whatever gets pushed, they're like, listen to them white people at the college. They right.
hmm
They right.
And
It's the freeway's fault. We need education.
and fundamentally what it is at the core of it is blank slatism. It's magic dirt theory. It's that if only we had this one, if only I could change this very peripheral exterior thing about me, about myself, then I would be successful. There's no like I would be curious to follow some of these guys' lives. Like I mean, one out of every three black men has a felony on their record. That's an insane stat, by the way. That's a real insane stat. 34% of adult black males have a felony on their record. I'd be curious. There's three of them here. How many of them are going to get felonies? Is the quarter zip really going to change the trajectories of their lives, or is this just kind of like a well, I want to look good and it's good enough to look good, but I don't really need to change anything. I think more likely than not, that's what it's bending towards.
But
I want to get into this guy. There's this guy, that thing. And then okay, so wait, let me just show you. So this guy is being sincere here. This guy is, but even even if we're not talking about the quarter zips, listen to how this guy is talking and listen to how he thinks that by using big words that he associates with white people, he thinks that he's coming off as smart when anybody with when any like white boomer above an IQ of, or maybe not a boomer because he would love this kind of stuff, but any like
right,
discerning white guy with an IQ above 110 would be able to sniff this out immediately and be able to tell that this guy is just playing a role. Just listen to this.
Quite extensively over recent. And to that, now it has come to my attention that the quarter zip community has grown quite extensively over recent. And to that, I want to say welcome.
Quite extensively over recent.
do you remember seeing the video of the Baltimore suit walk?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was that?
It
When
was
the
the thing was it was like we're gonna start wearing suits because we're gonna. It was something goofy where it was like the same exact concept of I like we're gonna really show Whitey. We're gonna walk around in suits and like 2/3 of them were in like straight up pimp suits.
exactly. Well, and I don't know if there's any, I think there may be a video like this, but with a lot of these quarter zips, you'll see that they're only really like um they're really only living up to the attire in the top half of their body. So they'll be wearing a quarter zip that's too big, basically. But then they'll be wearing like sweatpants and like Jordans with their quarter zip. It's like you have to still wear like the jeans or some slacks. Like you look like honestly, it looks ridiculous. It's like you are
It's
pretending.
they look like high school kids who go to a school that requires uniforms.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I don't totally dislike this guy. This haircut, this beard trim, I don't like these kind of glasses. I think anybody who wears clear frame glasses is an imbecile, white or black, to be honest with you. But um, this look, this could be a real professional guy. I'm just saying that he's not as smart as he thinks he is, and you can tell that he doesn't have the command over the English language that he thinks he does. That's all I'll say about this guy.
Welcome to the community. Now, I like to consider myself one of the vets that exists in this community. And because of that, I felt it was partly responsible on my behalf to share some of the
It was partly responsible on my behalf. You're being way too verbose, dude. You don't need to use that many words. Like when you talk to like a black person who's really trying to like show out and show that
Oh,
they
I've had this experience with work. I had one guy. I forget what he was trying to say, but he was like, "You see, that's a conflict of interest." And what was he? Sorry, I'm spacing. It was really funny because
but
he
it
was like,
didn't it like didn't apply at all to
it
what
didn't apply at
yeah,
all. It was
exactly.
like, because it was like we he was expecting something to be part of the bill, and it wasn't. And
Okay.
instead of just saying, "Hey, I thought that was being installed as well," he
Exactly.
was like, "You see, that's a conflict of interest." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I
What?
was like confused.
Are you
And it's
saying
just,
that there's somebody else that I'm not telling you about that I'm
yeah,
working with?
it was weird. I'll text you when I remember what the exact situation was, but it was just I that's why I laugh every time I hear the word conflict of interest now.
But
I just
like,
imagine him saying that.
did you ever watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? I'm thinking of this because Carlton is in the corner right here. Did you ever watch it?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. See, Carlton Banks in that show is, and I know he gets a lot of heat for he gets a lot of attention for better or for worse in that show. But Carlton was an example of somebody who is like functionally white, basically. Like he was somebody who had been immersed in
Well,
the
they
white
kind of did that
community.
with Hillary too.
Yeah, yeah, Hillary also, good point. And also Ashley Banks to a lesser extent also. Um, but those were people who were like truly already immersed in the white community. So you would never hear Carlton say something like this. Like Carlton would never say
welcome to
this.
No, it
the
would just
community.
be
Now, I
natural.
like to consider myself one of the vets that exists in this community. And because of that, I felt it was partly responsible on my behalf to share some of the ground rules that do exist in this community, okay? Because after all, the quarter zip way, this is a lifestyle. Now, the first ground rule is you got to conduct yourself professionally at all times while wearing a quarter zip. No unruly behavior, no menace activity. You can't have on the quarter zip and still act like you in a Nike Tech. You can't do that. It don't work like that. This quarter
And again, it's the magic dirt theory. It's that okay, well you can't act this way when you're in the quarter zip, but when you take off the quarter zip, it's like Clark Kent
Let it
take it
fly.
yeah, just let the bullets fly and put that switch on your Glock. Um I don't know that he has anything super
zip
interesting
represents
to say about this.
elegance and diplomacy. So that Nike Tech behavior, you gotta leave that in the past. Now the second ground rule is quarter zip men. We are respectful men. We are polite men. We are well mannered. We do not use profanity. We do not speak vulgarly. But we articulate how we feel with a strong vocabulary and emotional intelligence. Now, if I lost some of y'all
Mm,
on that second ground rule, this quarter zip not the lifestyle for you. So you may continue in your Nike Tech ways. Now on to the third ground rule, and I may lose some of y'all here as well, all right? But as quarter zip men, we don't listen to certain music, all right? We don't ride around listening to certain music. We don't ride around listening to drill. We don't ride around listening to how many ops we can today. We don't do that. But instead, you'll find quarter zip men riding around listening to some gospel, some Marvin Sapp, some Yolanda Adams, some Maverick City. That's the stuff we listen to. Or some jazz, some Charlie Parker, John Coltrane. We
okay.
listen to that kind of music.
That's
Now, the
fine.
fourth ground rule is a quarter zip man must smell good at all times. It is
Can't be smelling like a blunt. But yeah, this
This
is
is
all
so goofy.
it's just goofy and it's like
Like
they're also
it's trying to make it almost more than it actually is. It's just an overshirt.
yeah, it's just an overshirt. Um, let's watch one more. Now I'm craving perform. I don't know what they mean by performative literature. I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a Freudian slip there. Performative literature. Yeah, maybe you're just reading in a performative way. That's probably what's
I
going
think
on.
that I think it's exactly where they heard somebody using it in a way where it was like making fun of that, but
And
they
they
don't
were like,
understand what performative means, so they're adopting it thinking it's like a good thing.
yeah, they're like, I only read performative literature. It's like, You know that that means that you're just reading in a performative way, right? And yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
I'm performing literature.
the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is probably the best example because that's actually how like truly successful black people would act. They would act like Carlton Banks. They
I've
wouldn't
never
be.
watched it, but have you seen the reboot out there
No, I've seen clips on TikTok and I
where it's
just
like Uncle Phil was in a fraternity and he stomps the yard and like
I
Carlton's
j-
a benzo addict who hates
yeah,
Will.
I just can't. I mean, honestly, there probably is a little bit of truth in that show that I think it was a little bit I thought it was always a little bit fake that Will and Carlton just somehow like ended up just being boys. Like they wouldn't have hung out like that. Like Will would not have liked Carlton at all, and Carlton would not have liked
And that's
Will.
I think based on what I've seen from just like clips and trailers, I think that's the route they went in the reboot.
Yeah, but they what they do try to do is they really try to ham up the idea that Carlton has like these racist white friends who say the N-word around Carlton and he's a sellout because he lets them do all that.
Is that in the
Like
new one or the old or
that's
in
in
the original?
that's in the new one. They're really trying
That
to
makes
like
more
build that up.
sense.
So there's a scene in on a clip I
Oh
saw on
yeah, because he
TikTok.
plays Lax.
Yeah, exactly. There's a clip I saw on TikTok where they're singing a rap song and one of the white frat boys is saying like nigga in the song and Will like goes up to fight the guy and Carlton's like, "Dude, he's just saying the N-word. We say it all the time in our songs." So they really try to like ham up that idea that like all the frat bros are secretly super racist against Carlton and he gives them a pass basically. All a whole bunch of stuff that was just not in the zeitgeist basically at all in the 90s. So they're really
Well, it's
trying
like
to bring it into 2025.
it's so dumb to turn a lighthearted like sitcom into some serious drama.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I'm trying to think of another parallel, but I know exactly what you mean. It goes from this lighthearted show to like a commentary on society. It was much closer to Dear, what was that one we were talking about last time? Dear White People, was that it?
No, oh, we brought up your white people, but then you also have Abbott Elementary,
Mm-mm.
where it's like, oh yeah, this is an urban Philadelphia school, and the kids are just like very, I don't want to say studious, but it's like from everything I've seen, I was like, yeah, this is not a public Philadelphia school.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to like ask if like again, let's assume that they're serious, right? I would be curious to ask these kind of guys who are really leaning into the trend, like what are your plans to like elevate outside of wearing a quarter zip, right? What are your like tangible plans to make money, to be a professional, to climb the corporate ladder as they're talking about? I
I think this is why the boomers would like it because it goes in line with the boomer mindset almost of like they could walk into the top real estate development firm in the city with the quarter zip and khakis on, and give a
Mhm.
firm handshake, and then all of a sudden they're a VP of development.
Right. I mean, I don't think you would really get anything from them other than I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Well, how are you going to be an entrepreneur? Well, I mean, I'm a network and I got my quota zip and I'm just entrepreneurialize all day. Like I don't think that they've really thought about it beyond like let me just wear the costume. And
That's all it is. It's the costume.
um
Put
I
on a
think
costume and play a role.
that's really all these videos are. The only other thing I wanted to do regarding this topic. So what it reminds me of, and it ties in with that topic you were talking about the Baltimore suit walk thing. You see this from it's a very younger skewed black thing because it's on social media. But you see this every few months. There's always like a trend from black people that kind of lays out a plan to become professional or, like you said, to really show whitey. So at the beginning of 2025, I don't know if you remember this, when uh, when Trump was about to be sworn into office. So in that time period between when Trump was elected in November 24 and when he got into office in January 25, there was a big controversy about Project 2025. And, Project 2025's plans got leaked. Black people were freaking out because, for the standard reasons, oh, this racist and all that. And black people on TikTok especially were really freaking out about the prospect of a Trump presidency. Basically, one of the talking points they had was that, only 6% of us voted for Trump, but 40% of Mexicans and 40% of Asians voted for Trump. So we on our own, we need to break away and do our own thing. And a lot of black people like really bought that hook, line, and sinker, and
Wasn't there
were
like a whole thing where Rick Ross was going to build his own city in Georgia?
there was that. There was, I think Rick Ross funded some of the black people buying land in Georgia. That project is done. But one of the big ones that came out was from this woman, Ania Holloway, and I remember seeing her all over my For You page because she had a plan to do Black Project 2025, and the likes don't do it justice. Like she was getting hundreds of thousands of likes per video. If you read her comments, a lot of people were saying like, I'm a back end software engineer. Where can I reach out to help? It was basically like Nick Fuentes' super chats every night, reaching out and saying, how can I help the movement? How can I help the movement? And I think this was the very first video she did. And I'm going to spoil it. Shocker, shocker. This was all a scam and nothing ever came of this. But if you were a black person with a sub 100 IQ, which that's most, let's just be honest, you bought this and you were like, oh shit, black people they're about to lead a revolution of their own. Like, listen to this. This is the same kind of thinking of like, we really about to do it on our own here. And let's just see what she has to say.
Hear me out. I know it sounds crazy, but this is my vision. What if all of us were to get into a group? Okay, I'm talking doctors, lawyers, engineers. There's so many of us that are so talented, and we were to work together with our own Black agenda for 2025. I'm talking opening up Black owned grocery stores in certain cities, Black owned banks, so that way we can actually get our home loans and do what we need to do, our own doctor's offices, our own law practices.
There
And
is
we really were to
there is no shortage of home loans to black people, by the way.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, let's just put that out there. There's no shortage of that. Anyway,
just congregate and push towards our goals and our outcomes, right? And so this is how I envision it going. We can all get into this group. We can all donate what we have to donate on a monthly basis. And then basically we can have a CEO, we can have a CMO, and we can have a CFO that's in charge of.
she's basically like a third grader playing, instead of playing house, she's playing
Yeah.
corporation with
Yeah, it's
black
like
people.
let me just list off the basics of a corporate structure, and it'll sound like I'm smart.
Like, what real plan is, and she's not even laying out a plan. She's just like projecting, you know what I mean? She's just saying like, what if black people all had a business and then somebody got to be the CEO and then someone got to be the CFO and then we worked and then we got rich? What if that
And
was the
people pay
plan?
us, and
It
we
was
just get money. That's it. That's
did
just
you
how it
ever
works.
have you ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Was that a show of
Yeah.
yours? Okay. It's like when there was an episode where Mac and Dennis are trying to start a business or something, and the running gag is that Mac is very he's not that intelligent, he's just kind of compulsive. And Dennis asks Mac, he's like, Dennis, okay, let me hear your ideas. What are your plans for a new business we could start? And they happen to be at a country club, and Mac has this fantasy of himself as a bodyguard. And Dennis says, what's your plan for a business? And Matt goes, what if we started a country club for bodyguards, like a bodyguard country club? And and Dennis is like, why are you saying that? Are you saying that just because we're standing in a country club and you want to be a bodyguard? And Mac's like, no, 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 but what if we had bodyguards at the country club guarding the country club? That could be a business. And you realize that Mac is just saying that because it's what's surrounding him at the time. That's what's happening here. She doesn't have a real plan. There's no business model here. She's just like, I'm black. I feel attacked. What if black people could make money together and there was a black CEO and a black COO and then we get rich? Like, there's no real thinking with any of this stuff. It's the same
Well,
thing as the quarter
it's
zip.
like the food plates. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna sell food. Like I'm just gonna
exactly.
sell food plates on Facebook Marketplace.
Exactly. It's the exact same thing.
Like I've
I'm
always
gonna
told
sell
the story about
$500 food plates.
uh there was this it was I she her name was like it was something very maybe it was Laquanda, but it was like something so stereotypical. And this is when Marketplace first came out. Because I don't really, I think I still have a Facebook I use for messaging, but I don't go on it. But
Uh-huh.
this is like way back when I actually would look at stuff. And this chick posted like nachos, $3 a plate. She had the big generic bag from Walmart of like
Uh-huh.
the knockoff Tostitos, a
Hmm.
giant bag of shredded cheese. She put them on like the cheap paper plate and then mic'd them.
Of
And that was her
course.
nacho plate.
Yeah, see, dude, and
And
she
all the
probably wanted
comments
like
were her friends being like, "Get your hustle on."
exactly, exactly. I mean,
And me and my buddy were joking. We were like, "So what do? We go into the middle of the hood, knock on this lady's door, and say we're here for nachos?"
and she really thought she was about to like redefine the restaurant
Well, and it's
industry, you know?
elevated too to where this is becoming like a really popular thing where it's just
Mhm.
like, and like you don't see this. Like I've never seen a white lady
No,
talk about food talk about food plates.
no,
It's
never.
it's more just it's literally just like we're just gonna cook food and sell it,
Well, it's because white people would start a restaurant if they really
or
had
a
a good
food truck
idea or a food
or a
truck.
catering company.
And it's also that black people, you saw this in the other video where she said, we're going to do home loans for black people. There's also this idea that black people are like boxed out of the economy or something, or that they can't
And it
obtain.
couldn't be more the
That's
opposite.
just so untrue. That's so untrue. There's so many avenues to do that if you're serious about it. But I mean, I guess the way to kind of put a bookmark in this topic is that the reason that the quarter zip thing, the Project Black 2025, the restaurant thing, the Baltimore
Oh yeah,
suit
there.
thing,
I was gonna say we didn't even touch on the restaurants.
the restaurants, that's a whole other thing, but that is very prominent in Atlanta and Houston, especially. The reason they tick me off is just because it's a lack of seriousness. Like if these people were actually, I don't even know what they probably thought they were doing this with Forex, to be honest with you. But if there was like some seriousness, like a real plan, um, it's something other than like, let me just throw on a quarter zip or let me just talk about
Well,
having a
I like that
CEO.
thing what you brought up with Always Sunny, where it's not like any deep thought. It's literally just like food.
Yeah,
It's
food.
just
What?
food.
Yeah, what
Well,
if we did?
I'm eating right now, so let me think. I should start a restaurant.
Exactly. It's the same thing every time. It's, oh, people are mad about Project 2025. That's what's going on in the ethos right now. What if we did a Project 2025? I saw a white guy in a quarter zip. He had generational wealth. What if I wore a quarter zip? Then I would have generational wealth. It's ridiculous and it's unserious. And until black people like get serious about stuff, then yeah, then it's more of the same and it's a waste of time. And it actually has negative effects because white people who see this stuff will say at their Thanksgiving dinner, you bring up black crime, let's say, and they're like, your boomer uncle's like, well, I don't know about that black crime stuff. I mean, these young men are wearing quarter zips now, and I saw a well-dressed black man, so I don't really know about that. I don't think that's as much of a problem as it used to be. It's like that's the kind of thinking, these kind of trends are what create that kind of thinking. Because there's never any follow-up on this stuff. The quarter zip trend will be gone in a month. You know what I mean? If that. If that. So yeah, let's move on to this topic. I guess it kind of ties in. Speaking of restaurants, so we have this tweet. I'll let you kind of go in on this one first, but it says this young man went out for a meal by himself. He said, "You don't know how lonely, you don't know lonely, okay. You don't know lonely until you have to take yourself for that meal alone because sitting in a room with strangers is better than sitting in your own thoughts in an empty room. Would you go to a restaurant by yourself?"
See,
And
this
this
is it's just projection of like very mentally unwell people
this is a
who have
mentally
never
unwell person. Yeah.
who have never adapted because I just think of it like I don't like I've had experience dealing with friends who have friends and acquaintances who have crazy codependency, not with like one person, but just like, and it usually ties in with like the mental health crowd
Uh-huh.
where it's like, oh, I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. Like, oh, I just don't like doing anything alone. So it's
Uh-huh.
like this emotional loan sharking. where they're trying to where they try to like do this woe is me to get people to
Emotion,
do stuff.
emotional loan sharking. I like that a
That's not
lot.
mine phrase. I stole it from Jeff, and he really hit it out of the park with that
I
one.
like that one. Emotional loan sharking. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I was gonna say it takes a mentally strong person to enjoy like a solo
But
restaurant or
it
bar,
it
but then I
doesn't
thought about it. It
even.
doesn't. It doesn't even. That's not even true. Um, One of my favorite things throughout the week is twice a week. There's a it's called Mikosina here in Dallas, but it's a probably a higher end Tex-Mex restaurant. And that's my favorite thing to do twice a week is just go to the bar, have a few drinks, order something, and watch some sports and maybe place a couple bets on some sports games. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. I'm on my phone, maybe I'm clipping some videos and getting creating some thumbnails for the show, catching up with friends via text. Maybe I even engaged in a convo
Like
with
we
someone at the
spend so
bar.
much time on our phone. Like think about it. If you get carry out and take it home, like I understand carry out from a sense of like let's say I'm leaving hockey and I'm drenched in sweat
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I just want to get some. But for the most part, it's just like okay, I'm going to be sitting on my phone anyways while I eat this food.
Hmm.
Why do I have to get it to go? Let me just sit at the bar, order some food. And so like the other thing is like today, it's like the third Wednesday in a row I've gone to this wing place.
Hmm.
And it's just wait and a new thing I've learned is just it made me realize that wings do not travel well. Like they get mushy and they're just not as good
Oh,
when they're
yeah.
not fresh when they're not fresh. So what I
100%.
do, so like
Yeah.
last 3 Tuesdays, because they're closed on I want to go every Monday I get a craving,
Uh-huh.
but they're always closed, so I always just end up going on Tuesday. And I sit at the bar, I drink a 7 and 7, and I eat some wings.
That's chill. That sounds
And I
great.
sit on my phone. It's like, and that's the thing, like with anything. So like when I was in my mid 20s, and you know that age when like all of a sudden friends start to kind of get married, and you start to see your friends less and less.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I kind of went into a little bit of a pit, not to like to this wiener who's crying about it,
Yeah, but
but
no, I know
just
what you
like
mean.
where it takes some getting used to when you've spent like a lot of your childhood and like your early 20 years always hanging out with friends
Right.
that you realize like okay, I can either be miserable and sit at home and kind of whine to myself that why doesn't anyone ever want to hang out, or I can just go to a bar and eat and drink, and it doesn't make any difference if it's with friends or not with friends.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's a great experience actually. The place that I'm talking about that I like to go to, I've been going there probably one to three, 1 to 4, depending on the time of year, 1 to 4, 3 or 4 times a week. And at this point, when I go in there, the manager knows me, all the bartenders know me, three of the busboys know me, some of the visiting bartenders know me, some of the waiters on the other side of the wall who wait tables instead of working bar, even they know me. It's like a great feeling, actually, like kind of
Yes,
building your own third space. And then some people, when they see different people walking up to greet you, are like, "Oh, you must come here a lot." Boom! Now you have a new conversation partner if you want to talk to them. I've met so many interesting people. I've met so many cool boomers. I've met people who work in the real estate industry who want to help me get a mortgage for my future house. Like I've met tons of people. I've met new subscribers to my YouTube channel. I've met Gen X couples in their mid 50s who want to have a drink with me sometime.
I
Like,
feel like people really overestimate what it takes to be social. They
oh,
think you
100%.
have to be this like I don't this like overly outgoing like person, but you really don't. If you just sit at a bar and the people next to you are talking about a game that you're
All you
watching and you're interested in,
Dude, all you have to
no,
do is just chime in. Exactly.
yeah,
And
and
it's
nobody ever gets mad at you for chiming in.
never
That could happen once, but
the
if anyone does that,
the
then like
most,
screw them.
yeah, then you just leave that. But the most I've ever gotten in the way of that is like somebody's talking about a game with someone and I chime in. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that is crazy, blah blah blah." And they give a like a 2 word answer and then they go back to their group. Okay, not the end of the world. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
That's okay. Um Yeah, I mean, I've had a ton of interesting things happen just going out alone. It builds character. It's very peaceful. You can get a lot done. So yeah, I really don't like this idea that like this is incredibly lonely. Do you feel lonely at the bar alone?
I
No,
mean, it's
dude.
it's if you went to a Korean barbecue alone and then sat with the grill, that might be like a little bit.
Well, I think
I
we've
could,
talked, this kind of ties into something we've talked about that the bar used to be an inherently male space. So like the idea of like a bar fight happening or like guys getting off working in the mines for the day
or
or
you just
whatever.
like. I mean, also not to throw the phones under the bus, but like if you were everyone would be talking, watching a game together.
Uh-huh. Yeah, maybe like take out the AirPods maybe. Just have your phone and like be able to listen to what's going on around you. And all kinds of interesting stuff can happen. And most people aren't going to shoot you down because you know what happens at a bar? People are drinking and they want to talk. People get
Yeah,
chatty. People get
I've
chatty when they've had a
I've
drink.
never had you know the only people I've ever had be slightly dickish when I chimed in at a bar were Zoomers.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Everybody,
That's the
yes, I
only
agree.
time.
I agree.
Millennials, boomers, Gen X are all cool as can be.
That is
But
true.
like I've that's one thing I've noticed in
Well,
just I was even at the card store and we're all going through the same bins and I just like say something and this Zoomer looks at me like I just spit in his face for even
yeah.
trying to talk to him.
Well, I mean, it does tie into the alcohol thing, like we've talked about. I at the bar that I'm talking about that I frequent, I hardly see any Zoomers. I don't see any young people drinking. They don't want to
It's
drink.
very rare.
They're not social. They're not social at all, man. Even when I was just turning 21, I knew that the bar was like kind of a watering hole where you could like meet people and stuff. That's where I would hang out a little bit. And I'm not advocating like binge drinking or alcoholism or anything. I'm just saying that like third spaces are increasingly uncommon, and the bar is kind of one of the last remaining ones outside of like church and stuff like that.
But the
Yeah,
bar
like
is perfect because it's so much more casual
yeah,
and it's
100%.
so much more like it's some other stuff has barriers to entry.
Hmm.
Like with hockey, I first had to find a league that isn't established teams and they create teams.
Uh-huh.
Then I met people in that league, and then the other teams I play on now are because I did that league. But
Hmm.
again, my point being like it's like the bar is the only thing that really has no barrier to entry. You just
Yeah.
go, you sit down, you order a drink, you order some food, and you know, worst case scenario, you sit on your phone, you eat and drink, you go home.
Yeah.
To say and it's I've never gone to a bar by myself, sat and left angry ever.
Yeah, never. Oh God, no, never. I've never left feeling like, man, I shouldn't have gone tonight. Man, I had a horrible time. Worst case scenario, I watched a sports game. I called one of my homeboys while I was watching the game, like, oh, are you watching this, man? They're about to blow the game. Whatever. It's like it's fine. It's so annoying, man.
Or you had a nice dinner and some drinks, and you didn't crack a single of your bottles at home, and
Exactly.
you don't have a sink full of dishes.
Yeah, man. And in my case, I live like even less than a quarter of a mile from the bar that I go to. So I don't even get behind the wheel. Like I walk
Well,
downstairs,
it's
I
funny
go to
because
the place and walk home.
yesterday. Oh, so there's like two bars kind of by my house. One I've been to years ago. The lore behind it's kind of funny because my favorite wing place on the other side of town that only does one flavor had a chef that left there and then became the cook at the other place by where I
Oh,
live
okay.
now. And it's like it's a whole story behind that, but like so I've always been team the place on the other side of town. So I've walked past this place a million times, even though I went once like 7 years ago. So I finally yesterday went and sat down.
Hmm.
And it was a
Nice.
good time. I mean, the wings were good, and it's funny. I had wings and 7 for a late lunch 2 days in a row.
That's chill though, man. That's yeah, I mean
But
I real yeah.
the
No, go
point
say
being,
it.
like, okay, so when like at yesterday, there was There was a group of regulars sitting at the corner. I was kind of next to him, and there was an Indian guy sitting next to me. And the Indian guy got a free IPA because I don't even remember what the situation was, but like this one guy was like, "Oh, he's drinking IPAs." I think he might have worked for the brewery that the tap was from,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
he was like, "Oh, give it to that guy who just had an IPA." And like then all of a sudden the guy walked over and like was like, "Thank you," and like they start talking, and and then all of a sudden, it's a I live in a hipster neighborhood, so of course they have TCM, some black and white Bogart movie playing on the TV. Also, it's like 2 o'clock in
Okay,
the afternoon, so
okay.
like there's some old boomer in his non-vet gear who's like cracking jokes about the movie, and then everyone's just kind of chilling, talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great experience, man. Like for me, I love when I go in there and I'll be like a drink in or whatever. This happened, I think, last week. I was at the bar. It was one drink in. I was reading and this is one cringe thing that I do. I do like to read at the bar only because, and I hate that person that has their book at the bar. The only reason I'm that guy is because I have a kid who's 6 months and I don't get as much chance to read as I used to. So surprisingly, throwing in the AirPods and playing some lo-fi, I can actually get some reading done. So that's why I do that.
Well, and I feel like you've established regular status at the
Oh
bar,
yeah, yeah.
so like they know you're not being a prick.
Exactly,
They
exactly.
know you're not some jerk walking in there. They're just like, there's just Jordan reading his book, and they
Exactly.
know like if
And they
they have
love
to ask,
exactly. And I'm very low maintenance. Like I don't ask for anything other than my normal drink, which they already know to make when I walk in. And I'm reading my book and I feel a tap on the shoulder, like a hand on the shoulder. And I look around and it's the Gen X couple who recognizes me every time I go in there. And they paid for my round of drinks. They were like, "We want to get your round." It's a guy and his wife who have two college age kids, and they love talking to me. I love talking to them.
these
And I
cheap
love that, man.
Zoomers don't understand that if you're nice to people at bars, they'll buy rounds.
They will. They will. Dude, they want, okay, just side note, and then we'll get into this last topic. They wanted to pay for my entire bill. They wanted to get the bartender's attention and say, "We're covering all of his drinks." And I said, "No, no, you don't have to do that. Just get one of them and then next time because they were on their way out. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
I'll get one for y'all next time. Just get one for me. Don't cover my whole bill." And it was a joke. I was like, "Oh, that bill is going to be higher than you think it will. You don't want to cover my bill." And
Oh
it's
yeah.
just a funny back and forth and you just learn how to engage with people. But
Well,
that is yeah.
it's funny because now I'm keep thinking of all the things that Zoomers bitch about and that they complain about with society. It's like self-inflicted,
Yeah,
where it's
it
like
is.
if you're standoffish and closed and nothing good happens. But if you just show like the most bare minimum ability to be sociable and you go to a bar, guess what?
Yeah, and
Um,
yeah,
or sorry, of course, I get a work text right as I'm midpoint. Guess
oh, you're
what?
good.
People are gonna be nice, and then like yeah, it's like don't go in. It's almost like the incel stuff, where it's like don't go in immediately expecting the person you talk to cover a round of drinks. But like if you build this stuff up over time, good things will return your way.
Exactly. Um, yeah, I mean, I think on our show we've done a really good job of running cover, not running cover, but standing up for the Zoomers, saying that they're not these lazy, retarded people who don't want to work. Like we, the War on the Young White Men episode that we did, I think we laid out pretty succinctly, like these are people that have been economically and socially disenfranchised by diversity, by the economy, by the boomers. But this is one where I'm like, look, you do have to do a little bit of work on your own Zoomers. Like, you do have to go talk to people at some point. Like, I'm sorry, you can't just rip the weed pen in your bedroom all day. And I'm not saying that, like, they don't deserve a good life because they like to smoke a little weed. I'm just saying that, like, you do need to get out there and talk to people a little bit. And I think that would do them good.
Hey, someone you meet at the bar might have their pen on them.
Yeah, I've no no comment. Um, yeah, I've definitely seen that before. They'll at least have an e-cig on them that you can rip with
Oh yeah,
them.
you
Um,
just you just never know
you
who you're
never
gonna
know.
meet.
You never know, dude. I have a stack of business cards in my room on my nightstand of people that I've met at the bar who are engaged in anything from media to real estate. They refinance mortgages. They get people like it. There's really not a downside aside from becoming an alcoholic, which if you just have a
But
modicum of
yeah, and that's
self-control, you
the
can
thing
avoid
where
that.
it's like it doesn't even make you an alcoholic. It just like you no one's saying hang out and run up a bar tab, but like th I don't know, like two, three drinks, maybe even get a little spicy and have a fourth. It's not the end of the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, and that will probably lead to good convo and yeah, I mean not a good chunk, but a certain percentage of the followers or subscribers that I have on YouTube are from going to the bar and like talking to people and they're like, "Oh, so what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, this is my job, but on the side I do YouTube. Here's my channel." Subscriber. They're a subscriber now. Um, so yeah, the last thing I wanted to get into really quickly, I don't know if you saw this interaction I had with Hitler hated Christ, who we were talking about via text.
I don't think I
Um,
saw the interaction.
he is a friend of mine. I'm not gonna. This isn't really about him. I wanted to talk about what I said. So Vivek Ramaswamy, who I can't stand, I don't like him. I think he wants to make Ohio India. I think he has disdain for Americans, thinly veiled disdain that he hides under this goofy smile. Um, I had a tweet. So, and this isn't a okay, look, this is how it goes anytime you talk about kids. I'm not attacking his kids in particular. This is a larger trend, but like, so we have the kid standing on the table. I don't love that. Vivek, ironically, is wearing a quarter zip, which is funny. Um, we got that going on. The kids, I mean, yeah, he's holding his kids, but I'll show you the alternative of what I would like to see. The kids are kind of just like running rampant. He can't keep them beside him. And is it- I said, why are the Indian kids always misbehaving? I said, you see this with Vance's kids too, standing on tables, running around, slovenly dressed, etc. I understand kids are going to be kids, but it's every single time with Vance and Vivek's kids. And HHC responded, this is normal, bruh. It's actually not. I'm sorry. I said,
Well, did you see what I said earlier in the week, or I said it last week about how I go to restaurants now, and a lot of these parents show up to the restaurant because so funny enough, last Tuesday when I was at the wing place, there was a table with a mom, a dad, and their three young kids. All three kids had the tablets and were
uh-huh.
like watching some flashing lights thing.
Hmm.
And then there was a backpack full of toys. There was like balls on the table, action figures, like all that stuff. And
Uh,
I, I said, and this isn't to be antinatalist, but I was like, why is this now a thing? And I notice it so much more that these parents will literally be like, "Oh, I can't leave the house without bringing a backpack full of toys and snacks for my kids." Like, can you not
yeah,
take them to like? And
dude,
I know I'm gonna sound like a smarmy liberal dink or something, but it really is very gross and
I
like
agree.
what habits are you teaching? Because I remember
Yeah,
when I would go to restaurants as a kid, it was very much like you behave because
right.
you're out in the world.
Yeah,
And then I had a mutual who lives in him and his wife both live in the same city as me, and he and they both work in the restaurant industry at like very high end restaurants.
uh-huh.
And he was like, dude, this is so much, or he said at least his new restaurant he doesn't deal with this, but he was like, it's literally they bring it. He said it's not uncommon, and he said these are white families. This isn't like
Interesting.
some stereotype. They literally, and that's kind of I guess what dude's trying to like say that it's quote unquote normal. But these parents let these kids. They literally turn the restaurant into a playroom, and that's why I said when Matt Walsh talks about how when him and his 10 kids or whatever walk into a restaurant and he gets the eye roll, it's because of stuff like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I completely agree, but that's more on like, and I think this is what HHC thought I was saying. What I think you and him are talking about is like the normie parent, like the
Yes.
regular. What I'm more talking about is like politicians, because what I'm comparing it to, and he pushed back a little bit that this was a different time, but I'm comparing this to like JFK. And if you can see my
Oh yeah.
screen, the kid is pushing their stroller, fair enough, but the kid's walking next to their dad. He's holding their hand. The kid
They're
is
not
well
yelling and screaming.
the kid is well behaved and well dressed, by the way. Like you can't forget
Yep.
the dress part. And then I compare that to this with JD Vance. And I don't look, the jury is still out on Vance. I That's not what this is about. This is more about the cultural side. I mean, this isn't about Vance, but they are Indian, so let's just be honest. And they exit the helicopter.
One thing
As
I
well.
gotta give Trump credit for is you'd never see Melania in jeans.
Oh, dude, never. And also, here's where I'll give Elon some credit. Elon's son, little X or whatever, he was always in like a pea coat and like, he was a little bit unruly. I gave HHC some credit in the comments that in the comment thread we're looking at. I said, I will grant you that Elon's son was a little unruly and would run around, but was he ever dressed like this? Like headphones on, backpack sloppily thrown over the shoulder, they're running rampant. Like, look at like, and Usha's in jeans, and Vance is, I mean, whatever. I mean, Vance can hold his kid, whatever. But like, you know, like even a current example. I think DeSantis has kids that are about this age. You don't really see that from DeSantis at all. DeSantis has
I
kids.
was gonna say, I don't think I don't think you ever saw this from anybody really who's
No,
had
you
young
don't.
kids.
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
granted, like I guess you got to think how many presidents have had young kids. It's pretty much just Kennedy. It's pretty much just
Kennedy,
Kennedy,
but I think
Obama,
Bush had young kids. Bush did have
uh,
young kids.
senior or junior.
Junior. He had the two daughters,
Yeah, but
and
they were kind of like in their
they
they were
were
kind of like
teens.
late
Yeah,
teens.
same with the Obamas. Yeah, that's fair. Um, and I just don't. I do feel like it's an Indian thing. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the unruliness, the sloppy clothing. Like compare that to the standards that we used to have. And I
Oh
know this is
yeah,
going to get taken as like an attack on Indians or something, or you went after his kids, but it's like, if your kids are going to
it's
be
more
running
actually
around
going after him.
yeah, exactly. It's not the kids' fault. I mean, they're just living by the standards you gave them. Like if they're going to be unruly, then like have them stay with family or a nanny or something. Like I don't know.
Or like,
It
how
get
hard is it to just say, "All right, kids, you're getting out of the plane. Sorry, you're dressing like
sorry,
this. Then when
you're
we
gonna
get
have to
back inside,
you can
you can
throw
throw the pajama pants on and do whatever the hell you want."
well, and like you just said, pajama pants. So here's the example that HHC gave me. He said, or I said they're not dressed nicely. They're running around. They should be in pea coats like Elon's son and walking alongside their parents. And HHC said, well, they do sometimes. And even, okay, this isn't the worst example. They are in suits. Like, this is what I would want to see all
But
the time.
does it? Why the teddy bear? Come on.
Exactly. Dude, thank you. That's what I said in the
And
next tweet.
that was my big complaint that I was saying earlier, just a few minutes ago about a lot of the parents nowadays is like these kids just bring there's no standards of just like you can do what you want at home or you're going to a friend's house, but if we're
But
going
we're
to a
in a,
restaurant, we're going
but
somewhere. We're
it's not even that we're just going somewhere. It's that you are the vice president of the United States. Like it's not even like, well, hey guys, we're going out to Chili's, behave yourself. It's like
Yeah,
you are the leader of the free world if something happens to Trump, and you can't even tell your kids to not bring their toys on stage. And then this is one of the examples he gave me of Vivek. He said, well, they do sometimes, I guess because he saw this one wearing a blazer. What do we have here? Pajama pants, like you just said. You can't even like so you wear a suit, your wife wears a nice dress, but what happened? Your kid was like giving you a hard time, so you said, "Let him wear the pajama pants." Like,
right.
no. Like why are we letting them do that? Like there's a complete undermining of standards here, and I don't like it, and I do feel like
And I think it's going across the board. It's like I get what you're saying with this, but I'm seeing it way more across the board. Where it's almost like I feel
with
like
like
sadly enough with lots of couples,
yeah,
but I feel like it's one of these things where maybe people our age have internalized like, oh, they never got over their mom and dad scolding them, telling them they can't wear their Vince Carter jersey to mass.
yeah, you're right. Dude, the mask thing is a whole other thing.
I was just about to ask you because I haven't been to mass in a while, but I know you go frequently, so I don't know how. how
the
much it's
mass
changed.
the mass thing is 100% real. So what I'll say is that um where my wife and I go to mass and where we got married is it's in Highland Park, Texas. So it's right outside of Dallas. It's considered one of the five most affluent suburbs in America. Like it just is. It's an incredible area. It's beautiful. It's wealthy. And you can imagine it's like 98% white at our parish. That's just where we go. And even there where and I guess this is to your point, even there where you would think that the parents would have like some semblance of control over their kids, where they would be like, we don't behave that way, we're an upstanding family. No, dude, there's the tablets, there's the
Oh
snack,
my, no, no,
there's the snack bag, there's the teddy bear,
no.
there's the bag of toys. There, and here's the most offensive part, because you could bring that stuff and maybe I'll give you some leeway. Here's the part: they don't make them participate in the mass. So the parents will be standing up, doing the sign of the cross, the Our Father, kneeling, standing. The kids are sitting down on the pew, playing with the toys and looking at the people behind them, snacking on pretzels, and the parents aren't even making them participate.
You
So
can't see the video side, but my jaw's on the floor.
that is really that's really the most offensive part. It's not even the objects themselves, because you could say, well, maybe they need this at certain parts. No, it's that they're not making them participate. And what that really lends itself to is that the parents are going to mass performatively. They don't really care if the kids are getting anything out of going to mass. It's just more that they're seen at mass. And I have
That
seen
is
that.
so wild.
I'm just gonna
I'm
keep it
like
real.
that.
I it's
That has actually blown my mind because I would have thought 1 hour a week
That's
at
the bare
Sunday
minimum you
Mass,
can, right. That's the bare
like,
minimum you could do.
because I just think of it like when I there's no way I could have brought my Game Boy and played Pokemon at Mass.
Hmm.
That just
Exactly.
it I can't, like, it just doesn't even compute in my brain because I would have it just it would have been a hard no.
I mean,
That's just like,
at worst, you would just have to be bored for an hour. And look,
yes,
I understand that as a kid. When I was, 7, 8, 9 years old, I don't expect an 8-year-old or a
to be
6-year-old,
absorbing everything,
right,
but
to
still it's
understand.
like
I don't
it's
expect a
the
7-year-old,
respect of being in the institution. Granted, you don't realize it until you're a little older, and then you
right.
kind of like get it for why your parents were like that. But to me, it's just I can't even believe, like, hearing this.
Yeah, dude.
Just
And you
it
would,
just doesn't like, just from my own upbringing, it just does not compute that that would be allowed. And that's not to say we had to wear a
like
sport coat and khakis
a
every
3-piece
Sunday,
suit to every, yeah, exactly.
but again, it was no jerseys, no
Right,
basketball shorts, like that kind of stuff.
right, right.
And the thing was, if you were a baby, yeah, you could go in the crying room. But like
Yes.
the idea that you would bring toys to church and play during mass, just
Hmm.
I can't. It just does not compute in my brain that. And it brings up the point of, do a lot of these and this is gonna get bad because if you can't, I know this is coming from somebody without kids. This might be a
No, dude.
very rude thing to say, but like, if you can't if your kid can't sit through just an hour mass without any toys, or cannot go to a restaurant without a tablet and a backpack full of toys and snacks, how are they going to grow up?
Yeah.
Are you expecting, are they, or the metaphorical you, they, are they expecting that randomly everything's just gonna snap into place one day, and like the kid at 10's gonna, gonna be completely adjusted and normal? It's like, no, these habits that you're enabling and building are going to make the next generation more even more autistic weirdos than Gen
Exactly.
A.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really manifesting in the Texas schools. So Dallas County signed a law before this school year started, that all grade school level kids, like kindergarten through 8th grade, had to, like, there was a note. They basically signed a no cell phone policy into law in Dallas County. So they were gonna do the thing where they have to put their phone in the pouch or whatever.
Yeah,
But the pouches apparently were too expensive for Dallas County. So instead of that, they just decided to like actually crack down on cell phone laws. Like, if you are seen using your phone between these hours, it's taken from you, and it's a $25 fee to get your phone back. You
Oh,
can you
I can
you
already hear
can,
the
my
complaints.
kid isn't safe. What if there's a shooter at school? It's like,
But it's like, what are you gonna do about it?
yeah, right. Like, what's he like? The teachers have the ability to call out. Like, what does it even matter? Yeah,
It's
it's
just like
insane.
it's addiction and bad habits that are enabled, and it's going to be so much worse, I think, with a lot of the kids now if the parents can't. And that's not just like there's a lot of great parents out there who are our age, but the thing is, when I see the parents who walk into the restaurant with the backpack full of toys and the snacks,
Mhm.
that's where I'm just like, if you can't even do this with your kids, A, don't even go to a restaurant if they can't.
Exactly.
Like, there's
Exactly.
no like when I saw this family, I'm like, you could have easily just have the wife stay at home with the kids. You show up to the restaurant, you order some takeout, and you slam a beer while you're waiting for takeout. You don't
Exactly.
need to bring them, and especially if you're gonna bring them and make them adhere to like the standards and not give them toys and iPads, that's fine because I think at that point I could be sympathetic to that because that to me shows you're making an effort to condition them to how
Yeah,
society acts.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. And then it's even more pronounced with people like Vivek or people like JD Vance. They actually have the resources to be able to have their kid watched by a family member, by like a truly good nanny or something.
That's, but it's also like what you said, like it was like, did Vivek really just say, all right, I don't want to argue, you
All
can wear
right,
your
it's fine. It's
sweatpants.
fine.
Like
Let him do
that's
it.
what I don't get is like, I mean, granted, your kids aren't going to understand it until you're older or
Right.
until they're older.
That's with
They
everything
will
though.
with everything. They'll eventually understand, but it's almost so short-sighted to be like, I don't want to deal with this
I don't
battle
even
right
want to fight.
now
I don't want to fight this battle. I've never
because
understood that mindset.
yeah, it's like if you keep doing that, then you're gonna have like an illiterate, drooling 19-year-old wearing pajama pants who like whispers in his mom's ear at the restaurant to order for him.
Who becomes the person that we saw in the video who thinks that has no ability to talk to a person at a bar or a restaurant.
Yes.
That's what you're creating actually. Um so yeah, dude, you would think that like that the scene that I described at Mass would be like kind of relegated to like because there are plenty of lower income Catholic churches. Like
Oh yeah.
that's like a
Well, it's
feature.
funny enough. I bet it's probably I could
Oh,
also see it being like not as much of an issue at the lower income
that's
churches.
or what but or would it be worse though? Or would they actually be more subject
No,
to the
I feel like it would
technology?
almost be better because
Interesting.
it could be one of those things where it's like there's there's less tolerance to the nonsense,
Right.
but
Right.
it, but again, I could be way wrong and it could be worse. It's just
I never thought, and you should actually look up this suburb later on, but look up Highland Park later on like TikTok or something. It's like the epitome of like what you picture like a grandiose Dallas suburb being like. It is top five in the country. It's up there with like Beverly Hills. Like I'm not saying that's where we live. That's just
because
where
I think I've heard the name before.
it's not far from like uptown. It's down the street from SMU. Like when you drive through this neighborhood, you see like like the different college yard signs. You'll see like Bama, TCU, SMU on their front yards.
Yeah.
Like you
Well,
see
that's another thing. The college yard sign thing is so participation trophy now because I bet you've seen the like this is the home of a future Texas State kid.
But see, here's the thing though. They can actually afford to do that because even if their kid isn't qualified necessarily,
They're
which
still gonna get to
they're
Bama.
still going to get to go because their dad was an alum or something. And
Oh yeah,
I don't have a problem with nepotism as long as it's not Jewish nepotism, honestly. But I have no problem with American
but you've seen what
nepotism.
I'm talking about in the middle
Oh,
class neighborhoods because
absolutely.
I see that like in
Texas,
my mom's
he
neighborhood.
said Texas State,
Well,
exactly.
because I was
Texas
trying to
State.
think of the Texas version
No, you're right. That's what Texas State is. It's like the
that
catch-all.
because that's literally like in my mom's neighborhood. It will be like uh, a student here is going to UW Whitewater. It's like no parent in my day would brag about that.
Would
In fact,
brag,
that would
right,
be like
right.
embarrassing You know,
exactly.
anytime like a kid went to like UW Milwaukee or UW Whitewater, or UW Eau Claire, or any of those schools, the parent would be like, "Yeah, they're going there, but they're
But
totally getting their credits to get
but they're
ready to
just
go to
getting their
Marquette."
credits to exactly. Oh, I didn't know you were near Eau Claire. Really?
Oh, no, Eau Claire's way.
Oh, okay. That's where
It's a lot of people go. A lot. It's a popular state school, but it's basically like Minneapolis.
well, that's where Jermaine O'Neal, you know the name? Jermaine
Yeah.
O'Neal. That's where he went to high school and graduated. He was one of the last players to go straight
Wait,
from
I
high
didn't know
school.
he was from Eau Claire.
He went to Eau Claire High School. Yep. Jermaine
That
O'Neal.
is, I never knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'm an NBA junkie, dude, because I used to play NBA 2K, like when it was like NBA 2K6 or 2K7, and like I did like autistically
Oh no, he went
memorize
to
like,
the Eau Claire high school he went to is in Columbia, South Carolina.
oh, okay, so okay,
No, that threw me off, but
I
it's
was
spelled the exact
I
same.
was right about Eau Claire, but wrong state. Okay, fair enough,
Because
fair
I was
enough.
gonna say that like there's every pro basketball player who's ever went to a Wisconsin high school gets like people don't shut up about it. Like people still talk about Karan Butler. Like
Oh,
so I was like, damn, he must have.
Karan Butler's from Racine,
He's from
Racine,
Racine. That's a
Racine.
rough
That's a
town.
rough area I've heard. That's rough.
Oh, it's
Hey,
nasty. I
but
have to go
Karan,
down there for work a lot.
but I have a soft spot in my heart for oh, dude, have you noticed that every episode turns into sports eventually?
Yeah,
That's so
so the
funny. I love
sports
it.
haters can deal with it.
Yeah, they'll just have to deal. This is a guy-coded show. Sorry about you. Karan Butler has a soft spot in my heart because he was part of that
Oh yeah,
2011
he
Mavericks
was.
team. And Karan Butler
He
did get
broke his
injured,
hand though.
broke his hand about 2 weeks into the season. Or maybe it was 4 weeks, but he did lead them to some of the early victories that got them good placing in the
And he was
Western
still that
Conference.
was before he was like washed. But I
He wasn't
remember
washed at
because
all. Yeah. He
yeah,
wasn't
he
really
was still
washed.
really good at that time.
He was still a lockdown defender, and I think he had another couple good years with the Mavericks.
It was a
Um,
fun team. You had Sean
oh,
Marion.
dude, Sean Marion is one of my all-time favorite, not just Mavericks,
Apparently,
all
somebody
time.
an acquaintance of a friend was at a club in Chicago and saw Sean Marion and was like, "Oh, you're the man. But your jump shot's ugly as hell." And then dude tried to fight him.
Dude, okay, so this is the last. We probably need to wrap up after this, but Sean Marion, he has a deep, like he very much resents people who don't like his jump shot because you can tell he's heard it his entire career. He will try to fight you over that, and the reason I know that is because in the early 2000s, before there were even comment sections on the internet, when the only way to communicate with an athlete, if they opened him up to it, was if he answered forum questions on NBA.com. So what NBA.com would do, like maybe once a month, would be like, "Hey guys, ask Sean Marion your favorite question," blah blah blah, and
Would
it
they
would
do
be
it
like,
with videos, or
"No, no, no,
would he? Oh,
it
he'd
was type
respond.
only, it was type only." And somebody said, "Hey Sean, big fan." And this was like a totally innocent question. I'll never forget this, but somebody said, "Hey, Sean, huge fan of yours. I've been following you since your days at UNLV. I followed you in Phoenix. I love you for the Mavericks, blah, blah, blah." And they asked him, How do you, how did you have a successful career with your jump shot? Like, didn't it get blocked a lot? Like, have you ever thought about like extending your release point, blah, blah, blah? And Sean Marion types out like this it was like a two lines of question. Sean Marion types out like a two-paragraph response. And he's like, "Look, man, the reason I shoot like this is because when I was in high school, my vertical was so high that I couldn't even do a normal shot. And you know what? And this is like the precursor to like the snotty NBA player we know now. But he was like, once you get in the league, you would understand, oh wait, you've never been in the league. And you know what? You need to leave the jump shooting to me. And look, man, I'm sick of these kind of critiques. Seriously, man, come on." I was like 9 reading this. I was like, even at 9, I was like, dude, touchy subject much? Like
Right?
somebody's just
It's
asking you
weird.
about
It's
your
like you would think he would just lean into it and just be like,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
know.
it
I
works for
know.
me.
It works for me. Exactly, but he's like very defensive about his jump shot. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he like tried to fight somebody who was like, "Hey, you have an ugly shot." Because it is an ugly shot, but I loved it
It
because
just it somehow works.
when I played basketball, I didn't have a shot like his, but I did have a very unconventional shot where like my
Well, the
guide
funny
hand would
thing is,
fall off the ball and yeah.
in Milwaukee, like everyone would joke, do the Michael Red shot where it's like over behind your head.
Yeah, the
Yep.
Michael Redd, dude. Yeah, man, Michael Redd, dude. Man, one of the most underrated 20 points per game scorers of all time. People don't even understand how good
So
Redd was.
so the unfortunate thing with him in Milwaukee is he had a great career, but it was hard for people to embrace him, even though it had nothing to do with him. Like the whole, because like the story when Ray Allen got dealt out to Seattle after
Seattle.
they went to the Eastern Conference Finals
Hmm.
was basically George Karl demolished the team because George Karl's a jerk,
He is.
and it was like the whole thing was like a controlled demolition, and that nobody really wanted to leave, but nobody liked George Karl, and then there was a lot of like sleaziness behind the scenes, but like so you the team took obviously a huge dip after that,
Hmm.
and basically you go from Ray Allen, who's beloved, he's a national star, he kind of puts the small market team on the map, and then you go to Michael Redd, and it's like it was hard to embrace because, and granted, it has nothing to do with him. He's a really good dude. He played great,
Great
but
guy.
it's almost just like he's not Ray Allen.
Right,
Like
right. It's the
he's
same
not
thing
Ray
with
Allen.
Anthony Davis coming to the Mavericks. There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with him as a person, but like he's not Luka Doncic and he will never
It's
be that.
it's the
So
exact same thing.
yeah,
Exact.
it makes them feel an animosity towards the market. It's very interesting.
Oh man, you
Um,
should see when the Warriors are coming to town and get kind of baseline seats and do some heckling.
yeah, and then I become that guy who gets kicked
Well,
out.
no, if anything, maybe he punches you in the face and then
Oh,
you get a
million
nice
dollar,
you get to buy a house outright with no mortgage.
$200,000 settlement. I might have to have a 50-year mortgage, as we found out with the Trump admin, but
Oh
um,
yeah.
different topic for a different day. I do need to wrap up here, though. Great ending to the show. I thought this
Yeah.
was a fun show. Yeah, if you guys liked this, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Follow SW on Twitter at SNOWMED34, SNOWMED 34. And on Twitter, I'm Jordan B Videos, Jordan, Jordan BVIDE 0S. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back soon. Let's shoot for a Saturday show to watch
Yeah.
the Andrew Wilson thing. I think I should be able to swing that maybe just for an hour or
And
so.
I'll try and watch as much of the 6 hours as I can, even though she is so
Yeah,
annoying in that.
even if
But
you get some clips together, like particular ones that you want to watch, we can do that. But I'll watch it too. I'll see what we can do on that. But
cool.
yeah, good show, man, and I will talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
All right, thanks. Bye.